If you keep telling everybody, you're the greatest, you can do it, it pays off.
She is a genius at marketing herself.
Sexy is an attitude. She just has so much attitude.
How much of this was calculated, we'll never really know.
It makes him even more important than he was before.
All of a sudden, this thing went to #1.
I'm a ratings machine.
This whole case is about image. It looked normal, and yet have that dark side.
He's guilty!
Wipe the sleep out of your eyes. Look at that television set. You will remember this the rest of your life.
Hi, I'm Tom Selleck. Welcome to A&E's Biography of the Year. 2004 was filled with stories that captivated us. Tonight we're counting down the top 10 people who, for better or worse, made a significant impact on our world. And while each of our nominees is deserving in their own right, at the end of the night, only one can be named Biography of the Year. But before we begin, let's take a look back at 2004.
In Iowa, with 2 days to go, it is too close to call. Can anyone catch John Kerry, the big winner in Iowa and New Hampshire?
I'm John Kerry, and I'm reporting for duty.
Martha Stewart found guilty of conspiracy, obstruction, and 2 counts of making false statements.
See you next year.
But in an instant, Kobe Bryant's accuser backs out and the rape charge is dropped.
Michael Jackson declares himself not guilty to 9 serious counts of abusing a child, and then he danced.
The jury that convicted Scott Peterson of killing his wife and unborn son came in with its decision on a sentence, and now Peterson faces the death penalty.
The terror threat level is going up.
It is alarming in both the amount and specificity of the information.
Terrorism in Spain. Powerful explosions ripped through 4 trains in Madrid. More than 130 people killed, more than 400 wounded.
The armed gang took over the school on the first day back to class. 400 people, including 200 Russian children, are being held hostage.
I now declare you legally wed.
The number of same-sex marriages across this country exploded this week.
Our nation must enact a constitutional amendment to protect marriage in America.
Third time's the charm, at least J-Lo hopes it is. It's a third marriage for Lopez.
Oops, she did it again. Britney Spears said, "I do" over the weekend.
Billy Joel is giving up one solo act for a duo today.
Four American contractors were massacred in Fallujah. Tonight, the United States is vowing retribution.
These events occurred on my watch, and I take full responsibility.
The United States today handed over political power to the Iraqis in a low-key surprise ceremony 2 days ahead of schedule.
We have kept our word.
Swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The 9/11 Commission begins 2 days of critical public hearings.
Your government failed you. Those entrusted with protecting you failed you. And I failed you.
This is what democracy looks like.
Demonstrators moved north past the site of the Republican convention.
May God bless you, and may God continue to bless our great country.
President George W. Bush accepting the nomination of his party for a second term as President of the United States.
Don't be economic girly man.
Former President Bill Clinton is out of the hospital and back home in Chappaqua, New York. Ken Jennings finally lost last night on Jeopardy after winning more than $2.5 million.
Oh, yeah. In Paris, Lance Armstrong will win his 6th Tour de France today.
With excitement and ceremony, the games got underway. The Boston
Boston Red Sox are world champions.
A violent brawl broke out at an NBA game in Michigan last night. 6 people were injured. 4 players were suspended.
New York Yankee slugger Jason Giambi reportedly told a grand jury that he used steroids.
The United States is facing a potentially devastating shortage of the flu vaccine today after the British government shut down a major flu shot supplier.
Vioxx could increase the risk for heart disease. Merck finally said this is the proof that we've been waiting for, and they're taking it off the market.
For the 4th time since the start of hurricane season, people in Florida tonight are preparing for the worst.
Mount St. Helens sent up a large steam cloud today, the latest step towards an explosive eruption, which still could come at any time.
The death toll for Americans has gone over 1,000.
He misled the American people when he said we'd go to war as a last resort.
I decided the right action was in Iraq. My opponent calls it a mistake. It wasn't a mistake.
John Kerry chose Boston's Faneuil Hall to end his campaign.
I'm sorry that we got here a little bit late and a little bit short.
Mr. Bush emerged late today to claim a resounding victory.
I see a great day coming for our country, and I am eager for the work ahead.
After nearly a quarter of a century as the anchor of this broadcast, I've decided it's time to move on.
Let's close the program together for the final time. I'm Barbara Walters. Good night.
I say thanks for all that I have learned from you. That's been my richest reward. I'm Tom Brokaw, and I'll see you along the way.
Like any year, 2004 had its share of high drama and gossipy diversion. Some people burst on the scene, captured our attention, and promptly vanished. But others seemed to hold our fascination no matter what they did.
They're young, beautiful, and rich. And something about them made Paris and Nikki Hilton the undisputed it girls of 2004. Whether it was their latest project, their latest fashion statement, or their latest misadventure, they were sure to be on the cover, below the fold, and all over the tube. We couldn't take our eyes off of them, and it seems they didn't want us to.
The very idea that Paris and Nikki Hilton are even minimally famous is all the testimony you need to the fact that this is a culture that has lost its mind.
For some reason, the public is fascinated with them, and I really don't have an answer of how that works.
But it does work. And despite what it looks like, Paris and Nikki say it really is work. Hard work.
I don't understand these children that just don't do anything. It's just so unfulfilling to me just to, you know, take your parents' money and go shopping, as fun as it is, but it's just, I don't know. You don't feel really good about yourself.
A lot of people think that I just get everything on a silver platter and I don't work. I get up every morning, I'm recording an album, I'm doing movies, I have a clothing line coming out. Like, I work every single day, and people think that this is just, you know, happening. I really work my butt off.
They don't need to do it for the money, but Paris says working helps keep her out of trouble. Her chosen profession is acting. She performed in small roles in TV and movies, including Raising Helen with Kate Hudson, and a bigger role in the independent movie The Hills.
I'm serious, Steve. You've been hanging out with those losers since the 8th grade. I mean, they are such dorks.
You almost have to laugh out loud when you hear a question like, will Paris Hilton ever become a serious actress? Because the answer is no. I mean, you know, Paris Hilton is Paris Hilton. She's a novelty.
Ew! Ew!
What made Paris a TV star wasn't her acting range, but playing herself in a reality show.
Where the are we?
The Simple Life became a surprise hit, so Paris and sidekick Nicole Richie agreed to do a sequel.
Housekeeping.
This time, the spoiled divas drove cross-country doing odd jobs, usually poorly.
You are supposed to be in that room cleaning. If you continue to mess around, I will have to report you to Tom. Who's Tom? Your boss.
Oh. She's definitely not that character. I think she just does that to be funny or play it up for the cameras.
It made her a credible celebrity. Before, she was sort of like a joke. Oh my God, why is she so famous? You know, what has she done? Well, now she has an answer. What have I done? I have a hit reality TV show that I'm about to do the 3rd installment of.
Paris seems to have recovered from her most memorable role.
You're like obsessed. You always film me.
I can't pee.
The homemade sex tape that ricocheted around the web and was later released on video titled One Night in Paris.
You know, it wasn't my fault, and I've become a better person because of it. And it was something that was the hardest thing that's ever happened in my life.
The furor died down until this summer when this news item was reported.
The home Paris and Nikki Hilton share in Hollywood, California was burglarized.
Among other things, the thieves apparently made off with several more hours of steamy sex tapes.
To be on the internet with one X-rated video can be an accident. To be on the internet with 3 X-rated videos means that you shouldn't tape your sex anymore.
Paris's high-profile exploits are a hard act to follow. Younger sister Nikki struggled to find her own identity.
I'm Nikki, she's Paris. I don't like the whole Hilton sisters thing, but whatever.
She wants to tell people that she doesn't want to be as famous, and maybe she doesn't, but clearly she does like the limelight as well.
This way, guys. Nikki's out front.
The sisters insist they aren't competitive. Paris has her career in entertainment and Nikki in fashion. Trained at New York's Fashion Institute of Technology, Nikki designs expensive handbags and in September debuted her own clothing line of casual wear.
I love fashion. I knew I was going to be in the fashion industry somewhere, not necessarily designing, but somehow maybe a fashion magazine, so it was inevitable.
She knows what she wants, and she knew that at a young age.
And at the ripe age of 20, Nikki decided to settle down. The heiress tied the knot in a quickie Vegas wedding to 33-year-old Todd Meister, a money manager and longtime family friend. But before the ink on the prenup was dry, Nikki was filing for an annulment.
I'm not sure her parents were thrilled about the idea, and I think the reality set in.
Even with Nikki's juicy drama, it's Paris, as usual, who grabbed most of the attention in 2004.
Let me see the front of the sweater, please.
Why we're fascinated by her, I don't know, but she is a genius at marketing herself.
And Paris could market just about anything. 2004 was so hot for Hilton that she even had a book published.
Look, you can't blame Paris for trying to cash in right now. So she has an album, she has a book. I mean, this is her moment right now. She's on her 14th minute, and she knows it.
For now, we can't seem to get enough of Paris and Nikki. But that begs the multi-million-dollar question. Is this love or just infatuation? As the Hiltons might say, whatever.
When we come back, the countdown continues with number 9 on our list. A real leader of the pack.
Was the night before Christmas when all through the house,
no bodies were stirring.
No suspects to arrest.
The runways were cleared with the greatest of care.
As St. Nick manned the sleigh, we took to the air.
Now Dasher, now Dancer, on Donner and Blitzen.
They say he exclaimed
as he turned off the light.
Merry Christmas to all.
And to all a
dog.
Dog, dog.
Dog night.
Happy holidays to all from us at A&E.
Biography of the Year, brought to you in part by American Express and by Vitorin.
Life's about dancing to my own tune. My American Express card always backs me up.
Cholesterol. It comes grilled, fried, slow cooked, twice baked, poached, and pureed. But it also comes from Mom. Dad, Grandma Ethel, and Grandpa Sam. Your cholesterol doesn't just come from food. It also has a lot to do with family history. Today, there's Vytorin. When diet and exercise aren't enough, adding Vytorin can help. Vytorin is a new product that treats the two sources of cholesterol. Cholesterol from food and the cholesterol your body makes naturally based on family history. Vytorin lowers bad cholesterol 45 to 60%. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Vytorin may interact with other medicines or certain foods, increasing your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Ask your doctor about new Vytorin. Your cholesterol comes from two sources. Treat them both with Vytorin.
Santa Margherita is the saint of impossible causes. Men pray to her when they need to be forgiven. Women pray to her when they are going to have children.
From the depths of tradition comes an epic story of one family's quest for forgiveness.
No!
Sophia Loren in a CTV exclusive, Lives of the Saints, coming January 2nd to CTV.
Live like you mean it. Soon, people everywhere will know it as a slogan for a brand new network and a way of life. Fine Living is coming to Canada. Fine Living's dedicated to delivering real and entertaining information that inspires and empowers you to get the most out of life. Fine Living. Live like you mean it. Free preview on now. Visit newtvchannels.com for more information.
For sports fans, 2004 has been a banner year, full of drama, upsets, and heart-stoppers. The Red Sox came back from certain death to win the World Series. The American women's softball and soccer teams earned Olympic glory, and swimmer Michael Phelps hauled in a record-tying 8 medals, 6 of them gold. But the gold that glimmered brightest in 2004 wasn't in Athens. It was in Paris. It came from the yellow jersey of a cyclist who rewrote history.
The Tour de France, one of the most grueling sports events ever. 2,100 miles, 21 days, up steep cliffs and narrow straights, in harsh weather and treacherous terrain. It demands every inch of physical and mental stamina. To complete it is an achievement, to win it, an honor. And to win it 6 times, all in a row, is history.
It's special to stand on arguably one of the most famous boulevards in the world and have your own national anthem played. And to have had it done 6 times, it's incredible.
Lance Armstrong's unprecedented 6th win was not only an athletic victory, but a symbolic one. His hard-fought ride, an inspiration for millions who now wear a yellow wristband with the words, "Live Strong." This year, that motto captured hearts across the nation, a message to believe that anything was possible, a philosophy that began with the champion's own uphill battle against cancer. Just 8 years ago, at the age of 25 and at the height of his career, Lance was diagnosed with testicular cancer that had spread to his lungs, abdomen, and brain. His chance of survival was less than 50-50.
I want all of you to know that I intend to beat this disease, and further, I intend to ride again as a professional cyclist.
Immediately following the 1996 announcement, Lance began a fight for his life. Friends, like his coach Chris Carmichael, would wonder whether he'd make it.
The news went from bad to worse to just downright terrible. I remember going home one night and thinking, my God, am I going to be going to Lance's funeral?
But Lance attacked cancer with the same relentless determination he applied to his racing. A year after his diagnosis, when he began to slowly recover, he vowed he'd never forget the doctors, nurses, and cancer patients that so inspired him. He formed the Lance Armstrong Foundation to raise money for cancer research. But competitive riding was still the furthest thing from his mind.
It wasn't about returning to racing, it was about living. It was just about getting his life and being able to return to life. And so racing was like, you might as well have been talking about going to the moon.
but Coach Carmichael paid him a few visits to test the waters. He took Lance to North Carolina, to a mountain that Lance had conquered in one of his last races. In freezing cold rain, Lance got on his bike and took off, to the top, full speed.
Something happened inside Lance, and you could see it. I think hearing that sound of clipping into his pedals, he realizes that he's alive.
From then on, Lance set his sights on not just competing in the Tour de France, but winning it. And in 1999, he did. By the following year, there would be another victory and an even larger miracle. Lance and his wife gave birth to a son through in vitro fertilization. Twin girls would soon follow, as would other victories.
If cycling had the kind of standing in the United States that it does in Europe, Lance Armstrong would be Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Kurt Schilling. He'd be all of it rolled into one.
But despite repeated wins, rumors of drug use began to circulate, even though Lance never failed a drug test and continually denied the charges.
We're sick and tired of these allegations, and we're going to do everything we can to fight them. They're absolutely untrue.
They don't know. They don't want to know. They just want to say, well, it can't be done. This guy had cancer. He can't, nobody can do that.
2003 was Lance's narrowest victory yet. After a tough year, including the breakup of his marriage, he won by only 61 seconds, tying the Tour's 5-year winning streak. But the victory was a little too tight for Lance. This year, he was determined to win, and win big, by minutes, not seconds.
I was always insecure that this thing would slip away from me. And I raced like a little boy. I mean, I raced like a kid who just has his first bike and wants to win.
And it would be a huge win, crossing the finish an astounding 6 minutes ahead of the pack. There to greet him, his mother, his rock star girlfriend, Sheryl Crow, and millions of fans who lined the streets to catch a glimpse of a legend.
I just think he has the deep admiration of most Americans who don't care that much about cycling, but can see a dedicated performance and the grit and perseverance that it takes.
It's that same grit and perseverance that Lance says helped him achieve his greatest win, surviving cancer.
I've seen suffering. That's where I can cheat the others, because I have this perspective of life and sport and where it all fits. What a good day is, what a bad day is, and that's why I'm lucky.
Now, Armstrong hopes to inspire others to live strong, and it seems he has. Nike hoped to sell 5 million of the yellow wristbands this year to benefit the Lance Armstrong Foundation. Instead, they sold more than 27 million.
People know the story of Lance Armstrong, and they know what Lance represents, and they want part of that magic. We all want to capture a little bit of that, and we all want to live strong.
Coming up, number 8 in our countdown, TV's toughest boss.
Tonight on Biography in the News, Guilty. Now Biography goes inside the fairy tale.
She saw Scott, and she liked what she saw.
A perfect couple, a perfect relationship.
That ended in murder.
He is arrested by the golf course the day that the bodies are identified.
Scott Peterson on Biography in the News, tonight at 9 on A&E.
Today, one of our advisors helped this woman choose the perfect policy to go with the perfect new car for her husband. Full replacement cost, no deduction for depreciation. Perfect.
Walmart has a revolutionary new way to get digital prints quickly. Just edit and upload your photos to walmart.com. Order your prints, and they'll be ready for pickup at Walmart in about an hour. It's really easy and convenient, and now you don't have to wait for those prints or for that smile.
I was working on my second slice when I saw a damsel in distress. Either she'd seen a ghost, or it was heartburn. She needed something fast, so I offered her a Pepsid Complete. She bit. Only Pepsid Complete starts to neutralize acid on contact and keeps heartburn from coming back all day or all night. I shared my Pepsid, and she shared her cannoli. Pepsid Complete. Just one and heartburn's done.
My Sherpa. My equipment. My base camp. My trail. Oh, my Everest. And my favorite part, the descent. My life takes me to the edge. My American Express card always goes with me.
Wow, you sure got a lot of stuff for Joey.
I know, but he's been so good this year.
Do you think he hurt us?
No.
Surprise your pet with something from the PetSmart Holiday Village, where we have over 1,000 exclusive toys, treats, and gifts.
There you go, Joey.
Season's greetings from PetSmart. Need the perfect gift for a pet lover on your list? Fetch a PetSmart gift card. Complete the package with this cute dog toy, only at PetSmart.
At the Happy Honda Days, you will find for thee many choice Accords and a sweet deal that's so lovely.
It's Happy Honda Days for all, and the Accord is a great way to reward yourself. It's the car awarded best overall value in its class. You've been good all year. And now, you can lease an Accord LX sedan for $219 a month, or get impressively low APR financing for a limited time. It's Happy Honda Days going on now at your Honda dealer.
Happy Honda Days.
This cold, my sinuses feel like they're gonna explode.
Aisle 5.
My allergies have my sinuses all stuffed up.
Aisle 5.
Now tell them where you feel the pressure.
Yeah. Aisle 5.
Come on.
Sinus misery? Get Sudafed. Nothing stronger at relieving even your worst sinus symptoms. Not even a prescription.
I'm so congested.
Sudafed, aisle 5.
Sudafed, prescription strength sinus relief. And for even your worst cold symptoms, try Sudafed Cold and Cough.
2004 was a very good year for billionaires. Apple founder Steve Jobs presided over a revolution. His iPod sold in the millions and changed the way we listen to music. And Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen aimed for the stars, successfully launching a privately funded spaceship. One billionaire launched a kind of cultural phenomenon, and he did it with two simple words.
You're fired, you're fired, you're fired.
He's known for his brutal honesty.
Ivana, you were a lousy leader.
His extravagant taste.
If you're really successful, you'll all live just like this.
And his towering ego.
There's nobody better at this business than I am, and everybody knows it.
He has a large ego, and that's who he is.
Who he is Donald Trump, billionaire businessman.
Do we have a deal?
And what he is a consummate showman who's mastered the art of appeal. At 58, the real estate tycoon has always been famous. He's claimed some of the most prestigious buildings in Manhattan and amassed an empire that includes airplanes, casinos, beauty pageants, golf courses, best-selling books, even bottled water. But let's face it, the man behind Trump Ice wasn't exactly a hot topic until January 8, 2004. That's when a new day dawned for Donald Trump.
New York City, it's the benchmark for success.
A high-stakes reality show, The Apprentice, debuted with Donald as its star. It was his riskiest venture yet.
Of all of the things I've done in my career, I would say that The Apprentice is certainly the most unusual and maybe the biggest surprise.
A surprise, because in no time, the show became one of the season's highest-rated television programs. The Donald became one of the hottest television personalities, and a once-dreaded phrase,
"You're fired,"
became a pop culture sensation.
You're fired. You know, I realized as I was saying it, those two words are very beautiful. They're very, very definite. You can't go back and say, well, let's talk it over. It's like over.
And naturally, when Donald Trump coined the phrase, dollars flow.
I mean, I go down the street, people are screaming, you're fired, you're fired. They're laughing, they're having fun, they love it.
You're fired. He liked it from the beginning, and then he became enamored with it. And all of a sudden, this thing went to #1. And there's the Trumpster, the king of television.
Trump has vision. He got it.
Mark Burnett is the creator of The Apprentice and one of the show's executive producers. When he arrived in Manhattan to pitch the idea to Trump, the man behind Survivor got his first taste of the way the Donald operates on his island.
I called him on the way in from JFK to set the appointment for later in the week, and Trump said, "You could only do it now, come over right now." So suddenly, I'm on my way to Trump Tower, fairly unprepared. I pitched Donald from my heart what I really felt was great about the show, why it was good for him, why it'd be good television.
45 minutes later, they had a deal.
This guy's instinctive, decisive, and does things on the flick of a switch.
I love the beauty of the show. I loved what it did to New York. It shows the strength of New York, the beauty of New York, the horror of New York, and the toughness of New York.
Who will succeed? Who will fail? And who will be the apprentice?
The climax to every episode of The Apprentice takes place in the boardroom. That's when contestants gather round to see where the axe will fall. It's strictly Donald's decision, and there are moments when he can be encouraging.
Brad, I think you're the best one in the room. I'll be honest with you.
Thank you.
But in the next breath, punishing.
Bradford made an impulsive decision, a stupid, impulsive, life-threatening decision. Bradford, you're fired.
Yet despite what appears to be Donald's hard edge, people are seeing through to his softer side.
Trump isn't trying to be politically correct. He's not trying to please anybody. He's telling it as it is. And you know something? The American public appreciate that honesty.
It shows how bad your reputation is when you're on a show and the show becomes a big hit and all you do is fire people and people come up to me and they say, "We never knew you were such a nice person."
Who loves The Apprentice?
He's a great person. He's a very funny person, but you don't see that too much. And here he is on national TV, and he's poking fun of himself.
It's great to be here at Saturday Night Live, but I'll be completely honest. It's even better for Saturday Night Live that I'm here.
And in a year when corporate executives are under fire for scandal and corruption, and politicians are slamming each other on TV, perhaps Donald Trump's shameless self-promotion is refreshing, mainly because it's so sincere.
There you have it, folks.
And why shouldn't Trump showcase himself and all of his properties like one big television ad? He's a businessman first.
Nobody's bigger than me. Nobody's better than me. I'm a ratings machine.
He says what's on his mind. So what you see is what you get when it comes to getting to know the real Donald Trump. There are no compromises and definitely no excuses. That is his real hair, and he's not about to change it. He's never tasted alcohol, tried a cigarette, or coffee. He hates shaking hands. Too many germs. But he'll do it anyway to be polite. And surprisingly, he's more of a homebody than a man who craves the nightlife. Even the playboy who loves beautiful women really does want to settle down.
Hi, Donald!
This year, he proposed to his sweetheart of 5 years, Slovenian model Melania Knaus. After Ivana and Marla, she'll make wife number 3.
I know him, I understand him, I know his thinking, I know his brain, I know his taste. And that's why I guess it's easy for us, because if it will not be easy, we will not be together 5 years.
Donald Trump says he's having the time of his life, lucky in love and money. According to Forbes magazine, his net worth is estimated at $2.5 billion. But the TV show has also turned attention to another part of Donald's empire that's not going so well. Namely, his casinos that just recently filed for bankruptcy. There was even talk he should fire himself as the company's CEO.
You're fired.
Trump says not to worry. The casinos are only a small percentage of his portfolio.
I used to be a little sensitive about the casinos, but now I say, hey,
it's going to work out.
Ever the optimist, Donald Trump lives by that same question asked in his television show. What if you could have it all? In 2004, it's plain to see he does.
I'm kind of proud to know him. He's kind of an inspiration to me, you know. He just has that conviction. And if you keep telling everybody and yourself that, yeah, you've got it, you're the greatest, you can do it, it pays off. And you can. And he did it.
From a man who loves being in the spotlight to someone who'd like to escape it. Number 7 on our list, after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Howard Hughes.
A&E goes inside the Aviator and takes a closer look at the madness behind the real-life Maverick.
There was this other darker side to his being.
Movie reel, The Aviator, tonight at 10 on A&E.
'Tis the season to deck the halls, but why stop there?
We chose the family because they've been through some difficult times.
Find and Design takes items from garage sales and flea markets.
I was wondering if we can get it down a bit.
And gives this deserving family a new home for the holidays.
Merry Christmas!
Find and Design Holiday Special, Friday at 8 on A&E.
About dancing to my own tune. My American Express card always backs me up.
Why wait for a rebate when you can get low prices at Walmart right now?
Like the Shrek 2 DVD for $14.77 or Durabrand 7-inch portable DVD players for $149.87.
Why wait for rebates? We've got low prices on hot gifts for the holidays.
This Christmas, a romance for the ages. A musical from the heart. On the big screen for the first time. Rated PG-13. Starts Wednesday, December 22nd in select cities.
Introducing fast and free delivery. 3 days or less at barnesandnoble.com.
Make way for winter fun.
Winter may not be for everyone. Side effects include numbness of the extremities, snow blindness, cabin fever, and hot chocolate dependence. Winter should not be taken by people with low tolerance for wind chill, snow squalls, or thermal underwear. Complications can arise. For more information, check the Weather Network and theweathernetwork.com. Winter activities cannot be taken with summer fun.
This house has hardwood floors, high ceilings, and an indoor jacuzzi. So why won't it sell?
To start.
It almost looks like a dumping ground.
A&E presents Sell This House, a new show about what it takes to transform your average home into a hot property.
We need to kill the green, moving this furniture more neutral, not as decorative.
We are going to sell this.
Sell This House, only on A&E, the art of entertainment.
From A&E, your favorite biography, now on home video. Modern visionaries whose ideas and style have changed our world. From the historical to the hysterical. All true love, all truly engaging. Now, see the unique stories behind the faces that have everyone talking. Order your favorite today on VHS or DVD and have it shipped directly to you. Just call 1-800-423-1212 or simply shop biography.com.
This was a year when, unfortunately, stories of the missing and the murdered dominated our headlines. From the disappearance of Lori Hacking, a young Utah mother-to-be killed by her husband, to the fruitless search for North Dakota co-ed Drew Jardine, finally found killed by a sex offender 23 years out of jail. But one case became national obsession. It was a case with surprising twists and turns that took us on a journey into the darker side of the human character.
There is a verdict in the Scott Peterson trial.
The verdict, guilty, came after months of media speculation and high-stakes legal maneuvering, every detail of which was absorbed by a spellbound public. A public fixated for nearly 2 years by the disappearance of a pretty mother-to-be and the fate of her philandering husband in Modesto, California.
Including the FBI are searching. It's been 10 days since 27-year-old.
The case had long fueled television's thirst for scandal.
27-year-old Lacey Peterson.
And now the verdict drove water cooler conversation across the nation into overdrive. The crime was so unspeakable, and Scott Peterson, now convicted, had once seemed so normal.
We like to think that people that commit heinous acts are easy to spot, but that isn't the case. They live among us, we work with them, we work for them. We can have no idea what they're up to unless they get caught and it's exposed.
The facts of Scott Peterson's life were exposed long before 2004. We knew all about his pretty, vivacious wife, Lacey, and that she was 8 months pregnant with a baby boy she intended to name Connor when she disappeared on Christmas Eve 2002.
The people who know Scott and Lacey have no doubt whatsoever that he has nothing to do with her disappearance. I mean, this was a couple everybody envied. They were just so much in love. They were partners. They were a team.
Now, the picture of perfection that Lacey's family had painted was, in their minds, genuine. They really thought, or at least wanted to think, that they had a perfect marriage, a perfect relationship.
The country grieved with Lacey's family as they waited for word, and was shocked when it was revealed that the handsome young father-to-be had been having an affair.
Scott told me he was not married.
I think that's when they really lost hope. And if Scott lied about that, what else did he lie about?
The volunteers who'd once manned the makeshift command center in Modesto melted away once news of the affair became public.
How come nobody saw you at the Berkeley Marina and nobody saw Lacey walking the dog, huh?
With the nation now watching each development, millions now felt as if Scott Peterson was lying to us as well.
Why didn't you tell the truth?
I had absolutely nothing to do with Lacey's disappearance. Yes, I had a romantic relationship that was inappropriate and unfair to a lot of people. And I apologize to everyone involved in that.
Many cried when the bodies of Lacey and baby Connor were discovered. But with Scott's lies exposed, few were surprised when he was finally arrested near the Mexican border. With his hair dyed, a bag full of cash, and his brother's ID.
Soon after Lacey went missing, I made a promise to her that if she has been harmed, we will seek justice for her and Connor and make sure that that person responsible for their deaths will be punished.
It was clear who Lacey's mom was talking about. Still, when Scott Peterson's trial opened in June, we couldn't turn away. We wanted answers, as if by staring at Scott's implacable face, we could somehow glimpse the heart of darkness and see the soul of a killer.
This whole case is about image. Try to maintain image to the crowd and look good and look normal, and yet have that dark side.
I have always told you the truth.
Oh, really?
For months, it dragged on. The mistress testified, and we listened in on their private phone conversations.
No, with exceptions, obviously.
Huh, truth with exceptions. Huh, that's a new one for my book.
Was Amber Fry the motive for Lacey's murder? Could a man who seemed so normal kill his wife and baby over another woman?
The girl I'm married to, her name is Lacey. She disappeared just before Christmas.
With each passing day, many came to believe that the clean-cut young man on our TV screens was capable of anything, even murder.
No, I'm not a monster, Amber.
I never said you were, Scott.
You know I could never hurt you or hurt anyone. You know that, don't you?
It seemed altogether possible the celebrity lawyer defending this confessed adulterer would get Scott Peterson off. There were no eyewitnesses, and there was no physical evidence that had actually tied him to the crime.
He has lied a great deal to many people in order to cover up some of his darker deeds. Infidelity doesn't make him a killer. But on the other hand, it raises suspicions about who he really is.
When 2 jurors were abruptly dismissed during deliberations, everyone wondered what was going on behind closed doors.
The jury in the Scott Peterson murder trial has to start deliberating all over again. That's because...
But then on Friday, November 12th, 5.5 months after the soap opera trial began, a verdict.
State of California versus Scott Peterson. We, the jury in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Scott Lee Peterson, guilty of the crime of murder of Lacey Denise Peterson.
The crowd outside the courthouse cheered. And just as suddenly as it had all begun, the Modesto morality play ended. The cheating husband was exposed and castigated in the most public square on earth, television.
He's guilty, and am I happy?
For Lacey's family and countless others who closely followed their story, a sense of justice and perhaps some measure of closure.
Is it a relief to you?
Yes, it's over with. Thank God it's over with.
Later, the same jury was asked to decide Scott Peterson's fate. It took just 11 hours for them to reach their unanimous decision.
We, the jury in the above entitled cause, fixed the penalty at death.
Afterward, jurors told reporters they struggled to reach the death verdict, but ultimately felt Scott Peterson's stone-faced lack of emotion made the most compelling case for death.
I still would have liked to see, I don't know if remorse is the right way, but a little more expression of caring.
Scott Peterson was Lacey's husband, Connor's daddy. Someone should have, the one person that should have protected them. And for him to have done that.
In the end, after all the hours of saturation coverage and endless speculation, all that's left of Lacey now are images frozen in time.
I feel there's no winner. The Petersons, they lose a son. The Roaches, they've lost their daughter and their future grandson. There was no winner. Everybody lost in this.
How about something in terms of the search?
The case that riveted so many may soon fade from the airwaves. But it's left the public with a lot to think about. Most disturbing, perhaps, is the realization that evil sometimes looks like the guy next door.
When we come back, Biography Remembers.
Tis the season to deck the halls, but why stop there? Find and Design takes items from garage sales and flea markets and gives this deserving family a new home for the holidays.
Merry Christmas!
Find and Design Holiday Special, Friday at 8 on A&E.
Biography of the Year, brought to you in part by MetLife.
This afternoon, one of our advisors showed this dad how to protect his family. And still retire at 55.
If you're committed to taking better care of yourself, then experience a deep cleaning unlike any other. Sonicare by Philips. With patented sonic technology, it reaches deep between teeth and below the gum line. No wonder it's the most used and recommended by dental professionals. For a deep cleaning experience unlike any other, stop brushing. Start Sonicare.
My Sherpa. My equipment. My my base camp, my trail. Oh, my Everest. And my favorite part, the descent. My life takes me to the edge. My American Express card always goes with me.
Between form and function just became razor thin. The Motorola RAZR, only from the new Singular. The new Singular, raising the bar.
This Ghirardelli Square is no ordinary chocolate. It's the result of over 150 years of perfecting to create our most intense, slow-melting, premium chocolate. So we suggest you open your square caringly. Take in the heavenly aroma. Place the silky square on your tongue and let it melt slowly. Very slowly. Ghirardelli, moments of timeless pleasure.
Hi, I'm Paul DeMeo. Join me as 3 soldiers returning home receive the gift of a lifetime.
It's like being a part of a miracle.
An amazing home makeover.
I don't even know how to thank you.
And a beautiful holiday homecoming.
The community came together, supported us, and we will never forget that.
At Home with the Brave for the holidays. Friday at 9 on A&E.
Ray Charles passed away this year. Too early to see the film that has already brought his music to thousands of new listeners. Charles once said of himself that he didn't really want to be famous. He only wanted to be great. Well, tonight we pay tribute to some of the greats we lost in 2004.
We have a wonderful show coming up for you. I don't know the exact date, but eventually it will.
Mr. Moose?
Somebody call me!
Let me introduce myself. My name is, Kangaroo.
Everyone loves ham and eggs, bacon and eggs, pork chops, and roast pork. This is Julia Child. Bon appetit.
Hey, Stella! I once went out with a dame who told me I'm the glamorous type.
I have trouble taking a shower with a shower curtain or a door or anything. I won't.
I've never met anybody in my life that didn't like some form of music.
It's too darn hot. It's too darn hot.
Nothing comes easy. You know, I can't lose any weight. I tried jogging. I keep running into restaurants.
Can't help it. I like things clean. Blame it on my mother.
Well, we're moving on now. We're moving on up to
George, the Lord created everybody equal. Except in your case, he quit work before he got to your head.
We got a piece of the pie.
Senator Kennedy is going to come down here in about 10-15 minutes, so just be patient.
pledge to you, I'll bring new hope to America.
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
So if I could ask you just one last time, tomorrow when mountains greet the dawn, would you go out there and win one for the Gipper?
Whatever else history may say about me when I'm gone, I hope it will record that I appealed to your best hopes, not your worst fears, to your confidence rather than your doubts. My dream is that you will travel the road ahead with liberty's lamp guiding your steps and opportunity's arm steadying your way. Goodbye, and God bless each and every one of you, and God bless this country we love.
The loss of President Reagan was dearly felt across the country and around the world. This past October, we lost another larger-than-life American, Christopher Reeve. His death came as a shock to many of us because he made us truly believe that if anyone could, he would one day overcome his condition and walk again. In his struggle to find a cure for paralysis, he really did become something of a Superman.
I think it's really uncanny that somebody that was known for physical strength and superpowers should be someone that physically couldn't move. But he became Superman.
He never achieved the mobility he fought so hard to reclaim, but through it all, Christopher Reeve could still move hearts and mountains.
America does not let its needy citizens fend for themselves.
In the decade after the tragic accident that left him a quadriplegic, Reeve became a one-man army for victims of spinal cord injury. This year, Reeve was at the center of one of the most controversial issues of the presidential race, embryonic stem cell research.
Chris Reeve is a friend of mine. Chris Reeve exercises every single day to keep those muscles alive for the day when he believes he can walk again, and I want him to walk again.
You know, stem cells have already cured paralysis in animals. Stem cells are the future of medicine.
Reeve was again on the front lines in support of California's proposition to fund stem cell research.
Most people don't do anything for the good of the world when they're standing on 2 feet. Here's a guy that was trying to do it from a wheelchair, and that's something that a lot of people, not only in this country but throughout the world, will never forget.
To millions, Reeve was the hero with whom he was so inextricably linked.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
Superman, the role that made him a star. The movie that broke box office records back in 1978. Despite other successful films that followed, Reeve was never able to escape the cape, as he often said. But it was May 1995 when Man of Steel took on new meaning for Reeve. A fall from a horse, a broken neck, a body completely paralyzed. Reeve contemplated suicide. Wife Dana made him a deal.
It's your life, it's your decision, but, you know, I still love you, you're still you. I want you around. And we talked about that for a while, and then that sort of segued into, I have an idea, why don't we wait 2 years? And if life is unbearable, we'll talk about it then, but let's give it a shot.
And you're flying.
52, 54 RPM.
Reeve turned his depression into determination, willing his body to work.
Let's do 10 more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even when he was tortured at night by dreams of sailing, fishing, and sports.
But then I very quickly shift to, okay, what's the plan today? What's next? Ride this thing, drive it, drive it.
Reeve was determined to walk again, And with each milestone he reached, with every victory, people began to believe he would.
You just say go.
Go.
Then you say stop.
Stop.
Reeve surprised everyone in 2000 by moving his index finger. At the time, he couldn't even breathe on his own. He changed that in 2003 when he underwent experimental surgery.
And this is it.
Reeve became only the second person to receive an electrode implant that allowed him to breathe without a mechanical ventilator.
Cool.
And for the first time in 8 years, he could smell again.
And they brought in various things for me to smell. And literally, the first one was coffee. So I actually woke up and smelled the coffee.
To friends and family, it was Reeve's sense of humor and boundless energy that fueled his remarkable progress.
Here's someone who was basically not supposed to have any improvement due to physical therapy and has come so far for the level of his injury that anyone can do this. He's not really Superman.
Our scientists are on the threshold of major breakthroughs.
When he wasn't campaigning for spinal cord research or inspiring audiences to pursue their dreams, Reeve threw his energy into filmmaking. He became an award-winning director and even returned to acting.
Hold it a second. Yeah.
But Reeve's last project was the one closest to his heart, the Brooke Ellison story for A&E.
Bye, baby.
Ellison was just 11 years old when she was hit by a car and paralyzed. She didn't just survive, she thrived, graduating with honors from Harvard. For Reeve, it was a perfect opportunity to inspire and educate millions of people about the issues he cared so deeply about.
The story, I think, will reach and impact more people than me giving 55 speeches.
Chris was putting his own challenges aside for a greater good. I hope that other people can gain some encouragement from what my family and I have been through.
Reeve's heart gave out only a few weeks before the premiere of his film in October. But his tribute to Brooke Ellison was a fitting memorial to Reeve's own indomitable spirit.
When he died, a light went out in my life. The world lost a truly inspirational leader. I lost my best friend.
When we come back, number 5 on our list, and the TiVo moment of the year.
I was working on my second slice when I saw a damsel in distress. Either she'd seen a ghost, or it was heartburn. She needed something fast. So I offered her a Pepsid Complete. She bit. Only Pepsid Complete starts to neutralize acid on contact and keeps heartburn from coming back all day or all night. I shared my Pepsid, and she shared her cannoli. Pepsid Complete. Just one and heartburn's done.
Relaxing vacation with the heavy hitters in your life. $0.
My favorite linebacker.
Walks on the beach and massages with the people who are there when you fall. $0. Getting closer to the people who impact you most. Priceless. Use your MasterCard and you could win a trip for up to 20 people anywhere in our Together Wherever sweepstakes.
Invent a trick that will forever be named after me.
A better day starts with a better breakfast. A better breakfast starts with no cholesterol, less saturated fat, more possibilities.
You're late.
Silk, rise and shine.
Today, we showed this grandfather how he could count on long-term care insurance to be there for him. If he ever needs it.
Cholesterol. It comes grilled, fried, slow-cooked, twice-baked, poached, and pureed. But it also comes from Mom, Dad, Grandma Ethel, and Grandpa Sam. Your cholesterol doesn't just come from food. It also has a lot to do with family history. Today, there's Vytorin. When diet and exercise aren't enough, adding Vytorin can help. Vytorin is a new product that treats the two sources of cholesterol. Cholesterol from food and the cholesterol your body makes naturally based on family history. Vytorin lowers bad cholesterol 45 to 60%. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Vytorin may interact with other medicines or certain foods, increasing your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Ask your doctor about new Vytorin. Your cholesterol comes from two sources. Treat them both with Vytorin.
One day, you will come begging me to be in your movie.
You got an accent nobody can understand. You got a name no one can pronounce.
In a country where bigger was better.
See it, believe it, and never stop working to make it happen.
He couldn't get big enough.
Well, I married a Hollywood actor to get away from politics.
I want to do this.
Where we are now.
He's running!
We know how you treat women.
I love women.
He needs coaching, preparation, a message.
And 6 hours of sleep.
Obviously, I've made statements that are ludicrous and crazy and outrageous. And that's the way I always was. You touched them in a sexual manner.
That was a disaster.
The totally pumped up original movie. Roland Kickinger, Mariel Hemingway, Jürgen Prochnow.
Running for governor may be harder than I thought.
See Arnold Run. Premieres Sunday, January 30th at 8.
We are back!
On A&E.
It's an old Hollywood cliche. There's no such thing as bad press. But in 2004, some feel that saying was truly put to the test. Talk show host Bill O'Reilly was slapped with a sexual harassment lawsuit. He called it extortion and settled out of court admitting no guilt. Rock star Courtney Love headlined in more tabloids than concert halls. And even Mike Wallace made the evening news himself when he tangled with 2 New York taxi inspectors. But one celebrity redefined the term media exposure.
If you blinked, you missed it. The TiVo moment of the year. The 3-second flash dance. And the fallout that could last a lifetime.
I don't think you need to be culturally conservative to have found that halftime show offensive. I found it deeply offensive and deeply stupid.
And so did many Americans. Nearly 500,000 complaints poured into the offices of the Federal Communications Commission.
Not only is it sort of a crass and sophomoric demonstration, it may be an illegal one.
Just a day after the Super Bowl, the FCC launched an investigation. CBS, which broadcast the Super Bowl and the Grammy Awards later that week, demanded that Timberlake and Jackson apologize on air as a condition for appearing at the Grammys as scheduled. Justin, in accepting his award, bowed to the pressure.
And I know it's been a rough week on everybody, and what occurred was unintentional, completely regrettable, and I apologize if you guys are offended.
But Janet was a no-show. Instead, she had given her own videotaped apology earlier in the week.
My decision to change the Super Bowl performance was actually made after the final rehearsal. MTV, CBS, the NFL had no knowledge of this whatsoever, and unfortunately, the whole thing went wrong in the end.
According to Jackson, co-performer Justin Timberlake was supposed to rip her bustier to reveal a red undergarment underneath. 89 million viewers saw much more than that. With the new album soon to be released, Many suspected the wardrobe malfunction was a publicity stunt.
Well, that would be great if the album was coming out the next day. But the album wasn't scheduled to come out at that point for another 2 or 3 months, and we all know the short attention spans that people have.
Apparently, not short enough.
The fallout from that Super Bowl was astonishing and still is, because it is having a ripple effect almost a year later. The FCC is still freaking out about it.
Even an indignant Congress got into the act, calling for hearings and calling broadcast executives to the carpet.
We are outraged as to what happened at the Super Bowl.
As a flood of new decency rules swept the industry, broadcasters scrambled to stay dry and clear. A nervous CBS instituted the first 5-minute delay in Grammy Award show history. Other live broadcasts quickly followed. NBC drama ER cut a scene from an upcoming episode which revealed an elderly woman's breast. ABC apologized after airing a suggestive ad for its show Desperate Housewives during Monday Night Football.
Oh my God, who watches this trash?
And then, of course, there was Howard Stern, already on the hot seat for pushing the decency envelope. Clear Channel, the largest radio chain in the country, dropped his program after being fined nearly $500,000.
I don't think he has changed his tune, but we have changed ours.
In October, the FCC slapped 20 CBS affiliates with fines totaling $550,000 for the incident that started it all. The Super Bowl halftime peep show. But no one has paid a higher price than Janet Jackson. Tonight Show jokes, tabloid headlines. She eventually bowed out of the coveted role as singing legend Lena Horne. But 2 months after the Super Bowl, Janet surprised everyone with a self-mocking parody of the very thing that ignited the firestorm.
Saturday Night Live thing just goes to prove her sense of humor about things. The show goes on no matter what.
To many of her fans, the Super Bowl incident, intentional or not, was hardly out of character. The cherub-faced little girl who once performed with her famous brothers had fought long and hard to shed her apple pie wholesomeness.
No, my first name ain't Baby, it's Janet. Miss Jackson if you're nasty.
By the time Nasty hit #1 on the charts in 1986, it was clear that Janet was not the baby of the Jackson family anymore.
I'm not shy the way I used to be. The woman in me is starting to come out.
Her 1993 cover for Rolling Stone magazine left little doubt that the girl next door had a new attitude.
It goes without saying, I mean, she's sexy. But sexy is an attitude. She just has so much attitude, especially as an artist when she's trying to exude that. But as a person, like I said, she's so low-key.
After 5 multi-platinum albums, 18 gold singles, and numerous music awards, Janet took a break from the public eye in 2002, resurfacing now and then at the courtroom in support of her brother, Michael, charged with child molestation. Little did she know that she would knock her brother from the headlines with a scandal of her own.
Her fans and people that know her, they love her. They love her not only for the hit records, but they also love her for the humanitarian things she does. There's something wrong when that 2 seconds outweighs, you know, the 30-some years of life that she's led.
Shortly after the Super Bowl, Jackson's Demita Joe was released. It was her least successful album in 2 decades.
Janet has been in a cutthroat record industry for, 25 years. She's strong, she's resilient, she's smart, she's creative, and she'll come back. And she'll come back bigger and better than ever.
And sure enough, in October, Jackson was remembered at the Radio Music Awards for something other than a fleeting moment of indiscretion: her lifetime contribution to music.
It's really an honor, and this means truly so much to me.
Jackson's long and illustrious career may be her saving grace, but the landscape of television may never be the same.
There is a time and place for everything. Regardless of what my personal tastes may be, you don't inflict them on Grandma at Thanksgiving dinner. It's not the time and place.
In that one instant, Janet Jackson exposed a growing cultural divide between broadcasters and a public ready to challenge the industry's notions of decency. Just how will it all play out? Stay tuned.
When we return, murder, terror, and a new player on the world stage.
He was the man who spent the weekend with Susan. Do you realize the magnitude of the scandal?
Sean Young.
I love you.
Kevin Costner.
I swear to God, I'll nail you to the wall.
Gene Hackman.
This is insane. It's out of control.
In No Way Out, Sunday at 8 on A&E.
$120.90.
I'll just put it on the credit card.
But those rates.
Don't worry. I'll just put it on our Capital One Prime Lock card.
Introducing the new Capital One Prime Lock card. It's set at prime so you never have to worry about your interest rate again.
What's in your wallet?
Introducing fast and free delivery. 3 days or less at barnesandnoble.com.
I feel like a little adventure.
A man who feared nothing.
She'll go faster.
A woman who dared to be different.
Field of operation of the engine.
When a corrupt system tried to break him.
We are in a street fight, and I'm not gonna lose.
She helped him become an American hero.
You did it.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Cate Blanchett, in the Golden Globe nominee for Best Picture of the Year. The Aviator, rated PG-13, in select cities this Friday, everywhere Christmas Day.
Why wait for a rebate when you can get low prices at Walmart right now?
Like Little Tikes Hummer H2 Ride-Ons for $199.68, or Hot Wheels Slime Kano playsets for just $29.88.
Why wait for rebates? We've got low prices on hot gifts for the holidays.
Successful investing. At T. Rowe Price, it's about more than just hitting home runs. It's about a consistent, steady approach, year after year. Over 75% of our funds beat their 1, 5, and 10-year Lipper averages. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
The Wonders of Winter.
The Weather Network and theweathernetwork.com do not guarantee enjoyable winter experiences, nor do we accept responsibility for vehicular mishaps, shovel elbow, wet mittens, and the freezing off of fingers, toes, or buttocks. Check your updated local forecast. Winter is a limited time offer, just not limited enough.
Spent all year alone in your apartment, punching, tackling, and driving, and all you have to show for it is sore thumbs and a ticked-off girlfriend. Until now. It's Spike TV's Video Game Awards 2004. Give it up for the VGA! The brightest stars.
Forget about it.
Live musical guests.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yacht.
And a host that's bad to the bone. Snoop Dogg marks his territory at the biggest gaming event of the year. Spike TV's Video Game Awards 2004. Live December 14th at 9. The award show that takes you to the next level.
In 2004, thankfully, there were no terror attacks on American soil. But keeping the peace in Iraq proved difficult. Saddam may be in jail, but Iraq continues to be plagued by well-armed insurgents and increasingly brutal acts of terror. And just before the election, a tape message from Osama bin Laden reminded us, with a chill, that he was still hiding somewhere. But another shadowy figure emerged this year, bursting on the scene with a barbaric act that shocked Americans and gave a new face to terror.
was the act that defined terror in 2004. The gruesome beheading of 26-year-old Nicholas Berg, an American businessman who had gone to Iraq to help rebuild the country.
I mean, it's ghoulish to say so, but it is an extremely effective terror technique to show someone's head being cut off.
Experts believe the man who wielded the knife was Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, a 37-year-old Jordanian who in 2004 emerged from obscurity to become one of the world's most wanted terrorists.
He didn't just have one of his minions do it, he himself did it. So that sets him up as a fearsome figure, I would say even more fearsome in a certain way than bin Laden.
Zarqawi's notoriety was further bolstered by a string of videotaped beheadings that followed the Berg execution. Zarqawi and his group, Tawhid and Jihad, or Unity and Holy War, are blamed for beheading South Korean Kim Sun-il, Americans Eugene Armstrong and Jack Hensley, and Briton Kenneth Bigley. In many cases, the group also released videos showing the captives desperately pleading for mercy, a cold, calculated method of heightening the terror.
Seeing someone who's terrorized has an equal effect on the viewer. It literally can terrorize those who are watching it, and it certainly has scared off many people.
The videotaped beheadings circulated on the internet, becoming Zarqawi's calling card and a constant reminder of the horrors of terrorism. Overshadowing news about Iraq's fledgling government and the U.S. efforts to rebuild the country, and calling attention to himself by playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse with coalition forces that would help feed his reputation.
This is part of his flair for showmanship, one has to say, that he sees himself as a terrorist impresario as much as a terrorist leader.
For as much press as his bloody deeds have received, little is known about Zarqawi. Even his real name is a mystery. His current alias means the man from Zarqa, a reference to his birthplace in Jordan. Zarqawi is a high school dropout who gained a reputation as a petty criminal and thug. In the late 1980s, he traveled to Afghanistan and joined the Islamic Jihad that helped defeat the Soviet Union. He returned to Jordan in the 1990s, energized by militant Islam, but was jailed for criminal and political activities. Upon his release, he returned to Afghanistan and opened a terrorist training camp, alongside another soon-to-be infamous terrorist.
At that time, it was a camp that was under the aegis of Osama bin Laden and the wider al-Qaeda movement.
In October 2004, Zarqawi posted a message on an Islamic website pledging his allegiance to bin Laden. But in Iraq, Zarqawi is his own boss.
He exemplifies the new generation of al-Qaeda terrorists in being with al-Qaeda but not of them. In other words, having the same aims, the same enemies, the same goals, but actually operating more independently.
Zarqawi's importance in the war on terror is reflected in the bounty the U.S. has placed on his head. It's the same as bin Laden's, $25 million. Zarqawi's group takes credit for more than just beheadings. It has claimed responsibility for the 2003 bombing of UN headquarters in Baghdad that led to the organization's withdrawal from the country. Zarqawi is also charged with the deadly attacks at a Shiite mosque in Najaf, a plot to kill Iraqi interim president Iyad Alawi, and the murder of more than 50 unarmed Iraqi police officers. U.S. forces have hunted him in several cities, including the November invasion of Fallujah.
Watch out, let me get a shot.
Where U.S. troops were engaged in pitched street battles with insurgents. Yet, each time, Zarqawi managed to slip away, only to reappear with another deadly act.
It's very easy to just melt into the woodwork, go to a different city, lay low, and without that intelligence that precisely identifies the individuals and where their safe houses are, it's very hard to root them out.
Zarqawi's ability to strike on his own terms has not only kept the U.S. military on edge in Iraq, it's kept his name in the news around the world, notching up his reputation for brutality and his notorious image as the new face of terrorism.
Coming up, the final three in our countdown to Biography of the Year.
Tis the season.
Whoa, which card are you using? Those rates are brutal.
I'll use our new Capital One Prime Lock card.
The new Prime Lock card from Capital One. It's set at Prime, so you never have to worry about your interest rate again.
What's in your wallet?
I was working on my second slice when I saw a damsel in distress. Either she'd seen a ghost, or it was heartburn. She needed something fast. So I offered her a Pepsid Complete. She bit. Only Pepsid Complete starts to neutralize acid on contact and keeps heartburn from coming back all day or all night. I shared my Pepsid, and she shared her cannoli. Pepsid Complete. Just one and heartburn's done.
Welcome to the Walmart Photo Center. One of the ways we make digital photos easy is our 1-hour photo service. Just drop off your digital files the same way you drop off a roll of film, and your prints will be ready in about an hour. It's quick, it's easy, and the price is terrific.
Hi, I'm Jay Bush. I may know baked beans, but when we wanted to make Bush's new home-style chili, we went to the family chili expert, my cousin Drew.
He slow cooks it with premium ground beef, diced red ripe tomatoes, and special seasoning. It's quality you can see and taste.
Finally done? Yeah. That's one jar down. 1 million to go. I'm gonna need a bigger pot.
Try Bush's new home-style chili. Looks like homemade, tastes like homemade.
Come on, we're gonna be late. What are you doing?
Getting ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the class of 2004.
Recently, a MetLife advisor helped these parents create a financial plan, so they'll be ready, just in case the next 13 years go as fast as the last 5.
A small disc-like object was given to me as a gift. I pressed a button, and it cleaned my living room.
The dirt was there, and then it was gone.
It's like it sees the dirt. Across the country, people are experiencing the next generation of clean with the new Roomba Discovery from iRobot.
When it's done, it goes back to its charging base and charges itself.
Roomba Discovery gets more of the dirt. It's the smarter way to a cleaner house.
It's a robot.
Roomba. Got it.
See this pill? I helped invent it. It helps keep people alive, and that's why I do this after all. We had just started working on this when my father's heart problem started. It usually takes about 15 years to get a new drug ready. This one took almost 20. When it takes that long, 2 things keep you inspired. The millions you're going to help, and the one you couldn't.
GlaxoSmithKline. Today's medicines finance tomorrow's miracles.
Monday. So it is in Paris. You don't have to get huffy about it.
Where are you going? Indianapolis.
Flight delayed till tomorrow? No problem.
Can I spend the night with you?
I don't know. Drop the pretzels and step away from the serving cart.
There was peanuts on board.
You're not a peanut-free airline.
An all-new airline. Monday at 10 on A&E.
Most famous people have opinions, strong ones at that. And in 2004, we certainly heard from them whether we wanted to or not. In Fahrenheit 9/11, Michael Moore made a brash political statement and called it a documentary. John Bon Jovi, Whoopi, and the Boss threw their weight behind John Kerry for president. Kelsey Grammer, Jessica Simpson, and Governor Schwarzenegger backed President Bush. But one celebrity risked his money, his credibility, and even his career to make a film that created controversy and was fueled by passion.
For more than 20 years, Hollywood has rolled out the red carpet for Mel Gibson. He's an A-list actor who earned $25 million for his role in The Patriot and won an Oscar for directing the epic film Braveheart. But in 2004, Mel Gibson put it all on the line, his fame, fortune, and reputation, for something he thought was more important, his personal beliefs. All to produce a movie so controversial, no studio would touch it. Not even Gibson could have imagined just how many passions The Passion of the Christ would inflame. For its violence, for its depiction of Jews, and its controversial marketing campaign.
This is the greatest risk any major star has ever taken in Hollywood.
Gibson not only produced, directed, and co-wrote the film, he bankrolled it with as much as $30 million of his own money. Almost everyone thought Gibson would fail miserably. It was an R-rated film about Jesus. It had a cast of mostly unknown foreign actors, and it had subtitles for a script in Hebrew, Latin, and Aramaic. A far cry from the formula for a Hollywood blockbuster.
I can see a family sitting around and deciding what picture to go to see, or a young couple. I don't see this as a big date picture.
Not a date picture, a must-see movie for millions. So far, the movie has earned more than $600 million worldwide, with millions more in DVD sales and merchandising. How did Gibson do it? How did he create a blockbuster out of a Bible story? The answer might simply be found in one word from the movie's title: passion, as in the passion of Mel Gibson.
I think there's a hunger for movies that are sincere and uncompromised. And people who went to see it because they had heard that Mel Gibson went all the way with his convictions.
Gibson says those convictions stem partly from a personal crisis he went through more than a decade ago, one that led him to reevaluate his life and his faith.
Oh yeah, I've been cooking on this one for like 12 or 13 years, I suppose. And well, it's just, you know, you get to that place in your life where you're asking yourself the big questions, you know? Who am I? Where am I going? Where did I come from, you know?
For inspiration, Gibson, a devout Catholic, turned to the New Testament and its accounts of Jesus Christ's death, known as the Passion. His movie is meant to be a literal depiction of the final 12 hours of Christ's life, with unrelenting scenes of bloody torture and crucifixion. Some critics have called the violence unwarranted, but Gibson says it was necessary in order to show the magnitude of Christ's sacrifice.
I don't believe it's gratuitous at all. And it was done like that very specifically by me for a purpose. And that's the kind of, I think, to push the audience to the edge.
Before the movie was finished, there were concerns about its content and charges that it portrayed Jews negatively.
I think it was a terrible slander on the Jewish people. You know, Mel Gibson has every right to make a film. This is America. He can give his own interpretation, but I'm not prepared to give him a free pass merely because he's a Hollywood star.
Gibson strongly denied the charges.
Outright fabrications. And there have been many, you know? All these accusations of, you know, being an anti-Semite and all this other stuff, which are not true. Right. But, you know, and that's not what the film's about. You know? It's about tolerance.
The Passion is anti-Semitic!
As the controversy grew, Gibson circled the wagons, screening the movie to hand-picked Christian audiences, excluding most film reviewers and religious leaders who were critical of the project.
Mel Gibson didn't help things, I think, by not dealing with the full spectrum of American opinion. I don't feel the movie was anti-Semitic, but I feel that his promotional campaign was not as wise as it could have been.
Instead of hurting the film, the controversy created a buzz that continued to its release.
How much of this was calculated, we'll never really know. But this film got more publicity, free publicity, than any movie in recent or distant memory. By the time it opened, I don't know if there was a person alive in America who didn't know that movie existed and that it was opening on Wednesday.
Not just any Wednesday, but Ash Wednesday, the beginning of Lent. response at theaters across the country was overwhelming and controversial.
It's about time religion came into the movies.
They spent so much time showing him being beaten, and all of this stuff, so much blood, so much gore.
I thought it was a fabulous movie.
It's plain garbage, and something that creates hate is worse than anything else.
Over the first weekend, 15 million people saw the film. Many church groups had even bought out entire theaters, a triumph for Gibson.
He's through the moon. It was his Pietà, and to come out with this kind of success is incredible.
In the U.S. alone, The Passion has earned $370 million, putting it in the top 10 all-time for U.S. box office receipts.
Let's be cynical about this. If the movie had not made $300 million, it would have hurt his career. But because it did, it helped his career. It makes him even more important in Hollywood than he was before.
In fact, Gibson is now considered to be the most important person in Hollywood, according to Forbes magazine's annual power rankings. In 2004, Mel Gibson took on Hollywood and emerged #1.
When we return, another profile of faith in the face of doubt, when Biography of the Year continues.
On the next Dog, the Bounty Hunter.
Today is sweet day. We're snagging them all.
I told you, don't walk away from me.
His picture doesn't look like he's in the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
He'll be getting aloha, doggy style.
Dog, the Bounty Hunter. All new episode, Tuesday at 10 on A&E.
$120.90.
I'll just put it on the credit card.
But those rates.
Don't worry. I'll just put it on our Capital One Prime Lock card.
Introducing the new Capital One Prime Lock card. It's set at Prime, so you never have to worry about your interest rate again.
What's in your wallet?
This cold, my sinuses feel like they're gonna explode.
Aisle 5.
My allergies have my sinuses all stuffed up.
Aisle 5.
Now tell them where you feel the pressure.
Yeah. Aisle 5.
Come on.
Sinus misery? Get Sudafed. Nothing stronger at relieving even your worst sinus symptoms. Not even a prescription.
I'm so congested.
Sudafed, aisle 5.
Sudafed, prescription strength sinus relief. And for even your worst cold symptoms, try Sudafed Cold and Cough.
Investing is about knowing the waters and where the real risks are. At T. Rowe Price, we navigate the market with discipline, relying on experience and our own independent research. Over 75% of our funds beat their 1, 5, and 10-year Lipper averages. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
Hey, girl.
So what'd the doctor say?
Not what I expected.
No?
Oh, when I told him my arthritis has really been bothering me lately, I thought he'd give me a prescription.
He didn't?
No. He said I should try Aleve.
Is that better than what you've been taking?
He said nothing's better than Aleve.
Aleve can provide all-day arthritis pain relief with fewer pills than Tylenol.
Just calling to see how you're doing. Oh, even better than I expected.
Aleve. And for 12 hours of relief from your tough cold symptoms, try Aleve Cold and Sinus.
Need help with your tech problems?
Fear not.
It's Leo to the rescue, along with his sidekicks Andy.
Is smooshy a technical term?
And Amber.
Keep them moving around your site.
The Call for Help team will save you from those evil viruses, malicious spyware, and other tech stuff you need to know. So don't despair. Call for help.
I wanted to show you that you can do it.
Let's get straight to it.
Pick up the phone and call.
Weeknights at 6 on G4 Tech TV. To order G4 Tech TV, call your local cable or satellite provider.
This one will be solved in the lab. Murph, back some samples for toxicology. Murph!
Who cares, Bill? Nobody's watching this. Everyone is watching the movie network. Hundreds of movies a month, uncut and commercial-free.
Ouch.
Who can blame them? You are not a real cop. You are not even a good actor.
2004 will be remembered by many in two vivid colors, blue and red. At election time, the nation felt bitterly divided, with a sea of undecideds in between. But in the end, a hard-fought war of words and ideas was settled the old-fashioned way, by a majority. Number 2 in our countdown, the undisputed winner.
The long, bitter campaign was over. George W. Bush had won the election by 3 million votes. The first candidate to get more than 50% of the popular vote since his father did it in 1988.
I earned capital in the campaign, political capital, and now I intend to spend it.
It was capital hard-won. The election was never a foregone conclusion. In fact, for an incumbent, George Bush had a lot to overcome. The war in Iraq and failure to find weapons of mass destruction. A troubled economy and the deficit at an all-time high. And in some ways, the biggest obstacle of them all, the stigma of the 2000 election.
The fact of the matter is that by winning this election, he can show people his political skills, his toughness, his populist message, and it gives him a whole new mandate.
I have led our country with principle and resolve, and that's how I'll lead this nation for 4 more years.
I think it was important for the American psyche to have something firm and tangible like that after the chaos and calamity of the last couple of years.
And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
The country had rallied behind the tough-talking president after 9/11.
This is what democracy looks like.
But by 2004, the harsh realities of American politics began to divide the nation again.
And I think Bush had a genius of, like great presidents do, of not allowing the dissenters, the coarse that are going to criticize everything you do, get to you.
But some of the criticism was stinging, especially Michael Moore's documentary, Fahrenheit 9/11.
It's a very powerful documentary. It's not historically accurate, but it still was making an impact on the culture.
But the Bush campaign had a plan to firm up their base and win over the undecideds. And the way they did it was to send one single and clear message: to portray the president as a decisive leader who would keep the country safe in perilous times.
The terrorists are fighting freedom with all their cunning and cruelty because freedom is their greatest fear. And they should be afraid because freedom is on the march.
Bush runs the mandate on what it means to be a post-9/11 politician. Tough, tough, tough. Bush at least is given the impression, the feeling, that he's watching the average American's back.
The president went into the first debate favored to win, but John Kerry proved tougher than expected.
The president's not getting the job done.
All summer long, the Bush campaign successfully portrayed Kerry as a long-winded flip-flopper. But standing at the podium, he sounded concise and looked presidential.
I believe in being strong and resolute and determined. And I will hunt down and kill the terrorists wherever they are.
George Bush, on the other hand, seemed off his game.
Let me first tell you that the best way for Iraq to be safe and secure is for Iraqi citizens to be trained to do the job.
The president, who often joked about his own language skills, did better in the next debates, but not before Kerry enjoyed a bump in the polls.
I think what happened was the expectations for Kerry were low. The expectations for us were high. Bush certainly didn't do as poorly as the conventional wisdom was about him.
President of the United States.
Throughout the campaign, the president never wavered from the message that he was an unflinching commander-in-chief in a time of war. A man of resolve and faith.
Freedom is not America's gift to the world. Freedom is the Almighty God's gift to each man and woman in this world.
He realized that the cornerstones of this country are God and the flag. And he constantly did what he could to claim those two for himself. And he stayed on message.
In the days leading up to November 2nd, the polls showed that the election was up for grabs. It was going to be a nail-biter.
Well, this is a White House that's publicly trying to project a sense of calm, but there is certainly a level of anxiety inside the White House.
The early exit polls on Election Day had the president behind John Kerry. Re-election was slipping away.
About 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, all these exit polls started pouring in, and it showed that Kerry was ahead in Florida and Ohio. So euphoria gripped the Kerry camp. The champagne was being uncorked.
Like in 2000, the election came down to one state, this time Ohio, and no one was sure who would take it.
This was almost a repeat of 2000. In fact, on election night, if you looked at the map as the results were coming in, it was Bush versus Gore. Now it was just Kerry instead of Gore. It was that close.
There was a deja vu all over again feeling, but it wasn't exactly like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? But it was like, can we just have one normal election night? But it's not to be, I guess.
But finally, at about 1 a.m., an announcement.
This race is all but over. President Bush is our projected winner in the state of Ohio.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the President of the United States.
There was no recount, no court battle, no doubt about it.
America has spoken, and I'm humbled by the trust and the confidence of my fellow citizens.
This president clearly had a mandate in the sense that his agenda was very clear. You knew where he was on Iraq, you knew where he was on the global war on terror, tort reform, energy.
60 million votes, the most in American history, would finally quiet the questions about George Bush's legitimacy. And he accomplished what his father couldn't, win a second term.
And the fact that Bush won puts him already in a rare club of not just somebody who was president, but a two-term president. Somebody the American people twice chose to lead them. That's a big accomplishment, political accomplishment.
And with that accomplishment comes an even greater challenge, leading the country towards safer, more prosperous times. And perhaps even finding common ground along the red-blue divide.
Coming up, number 1. The Biography of the Year.
CSI Miami, the first season.
The first season.
Now.
Now on A&E.
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 On A&E.
CSI Miami, now on Sundays at 11 on A&E. Biography of the Year, brought to you in part by Capital One and by Pepsid.
Tis the season.
Whoa, which card are you using? Those rates are brutal.
I'll use our new Capital One Prime Lock card.
New Prime Lock card from Capital One. It's set at Prime, so you never have to worry about your interest rate again.
What's in your wallet? I was working on my second slice when I saw a damsel in distress. Either she'd seen a ghost, or it was heartburn. She needed something fast. So I offered her a Pepsid Complete. She bit. Only Pepsid Complete starts to neutralize acid on contact and keeps heartburn from coming back all day or all night. I shared my Pepsid, and she shared her cannoli. Pepsid Complete. Just one and heartburn's done.
I used to be a mall shopper. I'm not a mall shopper anymore.
It's the parking, it's the crowd, it's a zoo. After shopping at Steinmart, I can't go back to malls.
So where will you shop this season?
Let's not ask silly questions. I'm doing all my holiday shopping at Steinmart.
You've got everything you need in one store to get all the gifts you need in one trip.
Unique gifts, different things that you wouldn't really find anywhere else.
To me, it doesn't make sense to go somewhere where you're going to have to pay more for the same quality that you're going to get at Steinmart.
Steinmart. Once you go, you get it.
Malls are out. Steinmart's in.
Wow, looks nice. So your electric bill's going to be a little higher this month, just like your family's wireless bill. Well, relax. Only Sprint got rid of ugly overages for families. Take a look.
Protect your family from ugly overages. Now, 100 extra minutes only cost $5. Other plans charge at least $35, and unlimited Sprint PCS to PCS calling is included.
And with the money you save, maybe this could be a year-round thing.
Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
When your vacuum cleaner loses suction, your first instinct is to shake or hit it to unblock the clog. The problem, however, is more serious. Bags, filters, they all clog with dust and then lose suction. But a Dyson works differently. It creates 100,000 times the force of gravity to spin the dirt out of the air, so nothing gets clogged, ever. I just think things should work properly.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house,
no bodies were stirring.
No suspects to roust.
The runways were cleared with the greatest of care.
As St. Nick manned the sleigh, we took to the air.
Now Dasher, now Dancer, on Donner and Blitzen.
They say he exclaimed
as he turned out the light.
Merry Christmas to all.
And to all a
dog.
Dog, dog.
Dog night.
Happy holidays to all from us, Eddie.
So far, we've presented 9 profiles of people who were major players in 2004. But now we're down to the moment of truth. Whose story will be Biography of the Year? Our choice would have seemed improbable, maybe even impossible not long ago. But if anything, it proves the wisdom of the words, it ain't over till it's over.
Just turned midnight here at Fenway Park. Red Sox are 3 outs away from being swept.
Down 3 games to none against the powerful New York Yankees, the Red Sox needed more than a miracle on that cool autumn night in Fenway Park. They needed divine intervention.
No team has ever come back from an 0-3 deficit.
What happened next in the wee hours of October 18th was like something out of a Hollywood blockbuster. An epic battle that would defy the odds and captivate the nation. With their backs against the wall, the Red Sox fought back to tie Game 4.
Bill Miller has tied
it. And then, at 1:21 a.m., in the bottom of the 12th inning, the prayers of all New England were answered with a thunderbolt off the bat of David Ortiz.
Ortiz into deep right field. Back is Sheffield. We'll see you later tonight.
In that delirious moment, no one could have guessed at the wild 2-week ride this team was about to take us on. Certainly not Boston's long-suffering fans.
It's the Red Sox. You know they're going to break your heart, but you still pull for them, and you pull for them, and you got to hope that this is the year.
And few could have imagined that that group of self-professed idiots would rekindle a divided nation's passion for its national pastime, or remind it that heroes still grace the sports pages.
Longest game in ALCS history ends with a walk-off home run by Ortiz.
The amazing story of the 2004 Red Sox actually begins with a curse. A curse allegedly placed on the team by the Bambino himself, Babe Ruth, whom the Red Sox sold to the Yankees after their last championship in 1918.
Well, 86 years is a very long time, but it wasn't just that the Red Sox failed to win the World Series during that period of time. It's that they were often very, very good, and they got just this close so many times.
Deep to left, a 3-run home run for Buffington.
And didn't just lose at the end, but lost in ever more inventive ways. Each defeat more agonizing and improbable than the next.
2 outs.
The most memorable being in 1986, when the Red Sox were just 1 out away from winning it all.
I must have heard 100 times. People coming up to me, telling me exactly the same story. It was about 11 o'clock, and we woke the kids up like it was Christmas Eve. We got them out of bed, and we brought them down and sat them in front of the television set and said, Mommy never saw this, Daddy never saw this, Grandma and Grandpa never saw this. The Red Sox are going to win the World Series. So wipe the sleep out of your eyes. Look at that television set. You will remember this the rest of your life.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Instead, the kids were traumatized for the rest of their lives and in therapy up until October of 2004, when finally the curse was reversed.
But curses are not easily lifted. No team in baseball history had ever come back after being down 3-0. Against their bitter rivals, the Yankees, Boston needed everything they could muster. In Game 5, they needed 14 innings to win. In Game 6, injured pitcher Curt Schilling had to take the mound with a surgically re-engineered ankle.
Like a scene from The Natural, Schilling climbs the mound.
It's hard to measure people's hearts, except maybe in a game like that. And he was going to give us what we needed to win that game.
And in Game 7, scruffy outfielder Johnny Damon ended a dreadful hitting slump by swatting a grand slam homer into the right field stands.
Damon hits it in the air to right field. Sheffield back in the corner at the wall, a grand slam.
Later, a second Damon homer sealed the Red Sox place in history and completed their amazing series comeback after losing the first 3 games.
The Boston Red Sox have won the pennant.
A lot of people counted us out, but not us.
Back in Boston, unbridled joy. But to beat the curse, Boston would still have to beat the best team in baseball over the course of the 2004 season, the St. Louis Cardinals.
It's a World Series program, folks. Pick up a piece of history tonight.
A World Series is always about history, but the 2004 World Series was about more than baseball. It was about exorcism.
Can they go from cursed to first?
In Game 1, the Red Sox played as if they were indeed cursed.
As Manny Ramirez has made back-to-back mistakes and left.
Still, they hung on to win. In Game 2, pitcher Curt Schilling was the personification of the team's gritty determination. Pitching 6 innings on an ankle that oozed blood, he played through the pain and gave Boston a commanding 2-game lead in the series.
Regardless of what happens in my career, I'll never get a feeling like that ever again in my life like I had tonight.
The feeling was contagious. This time, there would be no stomach-churning collapse. This time, under an eclipse-reddened moon, the Red Sox were riding a rising tide of history. Scriptwriters could not have written a better ending, as 86 years of frustration ended with a soft grounder to the pitcher and a casual toss to first base.
Back to full. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions.
It was a long time coming. Even though the curse had been lifted 1,042 miles away from Fenway Park, the fans and their heroes were blissfully united in spirit.
Hey, we did it, man. We broke the curse, so I'm just happy. I can't wait to go back home and celebrate.
There's only 25 guys on this planet as players that can say they're part of a World Championship Boston Red Sox team, and they're in this clubhouse.
I can't even express it. It's an unbelievable feeling.
It's amazing. I mean, honestly, this didn't even happen in my dad's lifetime, and he's the biggest Red Sox fan I know.
86 years of futility suddenly ended by an improbable 8-game winning streak.
It doesn't get much better than all of this. They came back from the deepest hole in playoff history. They beat the Yankees 4 straight and celebrate on the Yankees' home field. And then they finish off the Cardinals, who were the best team in baseball over the course of the season in the World Series. They didn't just end the curse. They slayed all the dragons along the way.
So here's to the believers in all of us. For A&E, I'm Tom Selleck. Good night.
'Tis the season to deck the halls, but why stop there?
We chose the family because they've been through some difficult times.
Find and Design takes items from garage sales and flea markets.
I was wondering if we can get it down a bit.
And gives this deserving family a new home for the holidays.
Merry Christmas!
Find and Design Holiday Special, Friday at 8 on A&E.
Sundays.
Miami-Dade Police Department!
A&E turns up the heat with the hottest, sexiest, smartest crime drama on television. Got a survivor right there. CSI Miami.
The door opened in flight.
Does this look like a suicide to you? CSI Miami. Sundays at 11 on A&E.
It doesn't get much better than all of this.